the golden harvest once, in the heart of the great oak forest, lived a small, twitchy-nosed squirrel named Pip. Pip was a hard worker, but he had a very big imagination sometimes. His imagination was even bigger than his stomach. It was the peak of autumn. The forest was a sea of crinkle crunchy leaves in shades of burnt orange and deep red. This was a time for the great gathering, when every squirrel worked from sunrise to sunset to store food for the long, snowy winter. One crisp Tuesday morning, Pip found a grandmother tree. This wasn't just any oak. It was the oldest tree in the forest, and its branches were heavy with the largest, smoothest, most golden acorns Pip had ever seen. "Oh my!" Pip whispered, his tail twitching like a conductor's baton. "If I gather all of these, I won't just have enough for winter. I'll be the king of the forest." Pip began to fill his woven grass sack. Plink, plop, plink. The acorns were heavy and perfect. But as he worked, Pip's mind began to wander away from the forest floor and into a world of what-ifs. "If I store these acorns," Pip thought, "I won't eat them all. No, I shall trade half of them to the rabbits for their finest dried clover. And then I shall trade the clover to the blue jays for the shiny blue feathers they find." And with those feathers, Pip paused, holding a giant acorn in his paws. He began to march in a circle, getting more excited by the second. "With those feathers, I will make a magnificent cloak. I will look so grand that the owls will bow to me. I'll build a tower of acorns right in the middle of the clearing. It will be the tallest house in the woods. I'll have a mossy sofa, a balcony made of birch bark, and I'll invite everyone to a feast where I am the guest of honor." Pip was now so lost in his dream that he stopped looking at the ground. He slung his heavy sack over his shoulder and began to strut through the woods, imagining he was already wearing his feather cloak. "Look at Pip," he imagined the other squirrels saying. "He is the cleverest, richest squirrel of all. He has a tower of acorns and a sofa made of silk." He started to practice his King Pip walk. He held his head high, nose in the air, and chest puffed out. He began to skip, hop, skip, jump. "I'll have a crown made of a hollowed-out walnut," he chirped to a passing butterfly, "and I shall never have to dig in the dirt for a nut ever again. I'll have servants to bring me hazelnut tea on a silver leaf." Pip was so busy imagining his silver leaf and his walnut crown that he didn't notice the gnarled, mossy root of an old cedar tree sticking out of the path. Trip, stumble, whoosh! Pip's feet flew out from under him. He tumbled head over tail, rolling down a small, grassy hill. The grass sack, which wasn't tied tightly because Pip had been too busy daydreaming to knot the string, flew open. Clatter, clatter, clatter! The beautiful, golden acorns spilled out. They didn't just fall. They bounced, they rolled, and unfortunately for Pip, they rolled straight toward the gurgling brook at the bottom of the hill. Splash! Plop! Splash! One by one, his grandmother tree acorns disappeared into the cold, rushing water, swept away by the current toward the great lake where no squirrel could ever go. When Pip finally stopped rolling, he sat up and shook the leaves out of his ears. He looked at his hands, they were empty. He looked at his sack, it was flat and snagged on a briar bush. He looked at the brook just in time to see the very last golden acorn bob under the surface and vanish. Pip sat on the damp moss and sighed. no tower, no feather cloak, no mossy sofa, and most importantly, no dinner. Just then, his older sister, Squeaky, came by. Her own cheeks were puffed out with nuts, and she was carrying a modest pile of pine cones. She saw Pip's sad face and his empty sack. "What happened, Pip? I saw you skipping and singing about silver leaves earlier." Pip hung his head. "I was thinking about all the things I would buy and how grand I would be. I was so busy being a king in my head that I forgot to be a squirrel on the ground." Squeaky patted his shoulder and handed him a spare hazelnut. "Mother always says, Pip, don't count your towers until the acorns are in the burrow." The lesson Pip learned his lesson that day. He spent the rest of the afternoon working twice as hard, keeping his eyes on the trail and his paws on his work. He realized that a single nut in the mouth is worth more than 1,000 in the dream. Moral: do not depend on something until you are sure it will happen.